Well, back to school isn't just about new backpacks, routines, and healthy lunches. It also comes with particularly difficult challenges for parents, from finding the most effective way of communicating with your child's teachers to handling a co-parent who doesn't share the same opinions. Parenting expert Danielle C joins us to share some practical strategies to open communication and keep the focus where it matters most. Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, it's so great to have you because I feel like the discussions that we're going to have today are so important, and it's maybe not something that everyone thinks about. And I think a big point of that is communicating with your teachers, you know, from the beginning and continuing through the year. So what are some good practices to having that nice open conversation and concept throughout the school year with your child's teachers?
I think it's such an important conversation to have because a lot of the times parents are already exhausted and overwhelmed, and the teachers are already exhausted. The school year just started.
Yeah.
So with those emotions, we're kind of in reactive mode when we do have to communicate, especially if it's for something a little bit more delicate. So opening up that conversation, having it regularly enough, but also respecting the way that the teacher prefers to be communicated with, whether it's email, through the agenda, that alone will help a little bit to set the tone.
Yeah, you know, it's actually so funny because earlier this week I was talking with my mom about like parent-teacher interviews and, you know, the good ones, the bad ones, the funny ones. And it never really came to my attention until this week. But thinking about it from a teacher's point of view, what would they expect and what would they want from the parents throughout the season?
Teachers love to have examples, concrete examples that they could use more information as they can about your child, so that they can accommodate their classroom to support your child's needs. So even if your child's been there forever, they've had the same teacher for 3 years, over the summer the development still happens. Your child has changed. You may not have noticed it because you're there every day, but it's, you know, if there's anything particular that happened over the summer, is there a change in interests and things like this. So you could kind of reintroduce your child in the beginning of the school year to say, this is what we've been working on, this is the challenges we've been seeing, and this is what my child responds to the best, things that they like, so that the teacher can bring that into the class to help them.
Because it's good for them to know, right? Because the more information they have with particular students, the better way that they can handle some situations from things that the teacher might see in the classroom, right? Yeah. And then speaking of the child, I mean, even for me, like it was, you know, sometimes it's tough to talk about with your parents about education, how school's going for a multitude of reasons. How often should the parent be checking in with their child?
That's kind of go touch and go. It depends on your child's needs. Of course, if you have a child that doesn't necessarily thrive in a traditional classroom setting, you may need to communicate more. But I would say don't wait until something happens. You can communicate as long as you're not bombarding the teacher with constant emails. I mean, if they have a class of 35 students, you know, they would all want to be getting 70 emails every day from parents. But just a regular kind of check in to say, you know, we've seen that there's some progress. Talk about the positive stuff. We've seen great progress on this. We just wanted to know if there's anything else that we can support you with at home, so that you're showing that you're involved, that you're taking your role as your child's first educator seriously, without overpowering the teacher. Yes. But just to check in. Don't wait until the parent teacher meeting, because now you have a gross list of questions and you have 30 seconds to go through it. So just once in a while check in and say, hey, you know, at least a mid-year would help, and say we just want to see where we're going. You
want that grocery list to be a little bit shorter come parent-teacher interview time.
Yes.
You have such wonderful information here. Tell me a little bit about the book.
So I designed the book for that. Children don't come with an instructor's manual. So I wrote the next best thing. That's what I like to say. But it does talk about, what do you need as a parent first? What kind of support do you need? Because we don't always show up the way we thought we would when we find out we're going to be parents. And then is what kind of support your child actually needs in terms of school. And then it's just building that village. I don't like to use that term, but it's to build that, you know, where do I get the support that I need? Where do I get the support that my child needs? And how do I establish there is step-by-step, that communication with the school?
Well, you know what? I feel like we could literally talk to you all day with so many different questions and concerns. So I'm actually going to write you in here for a little bit longer. 2-hour chat with Danielle.
Absolutely. I can keep talking forever.
It's so great to have you on, though. Really appreciate your time, because, you know, we're back to school and a lot of these areas people need help on. So congratulations with the book, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.